Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Fine.
Good.
I'm in Brazil.
Oh, really?
Really?
Hallelujah.
Yes.
Thank God. You made it back.
Yes. Opa.
Okay.
It's very dark. I don't.
I
Sorry.
can see you. Yeah, it's very dark because you're very tan, understand?
Very right. What?
So you made it back.
There. There.
How did you get here? Where did you fly to? Frankfurt or Rome?
No, Malta, Frankfurt.
Oh,
Frankfurt.
Frankfurt.
Yes,
Frankfurt, São Paulo.
São Paulo.
Oh, that's so nice. So now it's home sweet home. Huh?
Yes, yes.
All right. I'm very happy for you.
Me too.
Okay, good. Good. So now be careful because the things in Brazil are more complicated than in Malta,
Yes,
okay?
2 weeks inside.
Quarantine.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And do you have anybody to go out and do the shopping for you and things like that?
Yes.
Ah, that's so good. That's good. Okay. Very happy to see you back. You are not here on Friday. I thought you were on the beach having a good time.
No.
All right. Hello, Erica. How are you?
Fine, teacher. Thanks. And you?
I'm all right. But you are still in São Paulo, right?
Oh, I'm still in São Paulo.
And
I would
how's your...
like to is in Rome, but I'm in São Paulo.
You'd like to be in Rome, yes.
Be in Rome.
Okay.
Yes.
And how's your mother? Is she okay?
Yes, she's okay. She hasn't any effect. She has any effect of the.
She hasn't had
any effect from
of the
the
chemo.
Chemo.
Chemo, yes.
Yes.
Good, good, good. I'm very happy to hear that too, okay? And I hope it continues like this. Okay?
Oh, I hope too.
Yes, okay. So, let me ask you a question because you always remember everything. Have we finished the last class we were talking about? Can we start a new class or we still have to do something about the last class?
Oh, we can start a new class.
Thank God, because I have already prepared 2 new lessons. And,
oh,
okay.
Great.
So today we are going to see one of them. Hello, Juliana. How are you today? Mario, are you all right?
I'm fine.
That's good. Good to see you here again. So you're becoming a regular student, huh?
Yes, I will try.
Yes, I hope to see you every day, okay? Just like Marcia, Erica, okay? All right, let's start today's class because it is something very interesting, okay? Okay, Marcela has just arrived. Let me share my screen and then we can start talking about it as Marcela is coming in. Okay, can you see my screen there?
Yes.
Yes.
Let me make it a little bigger for the ones that have eye problems, okay? Okay. Hello, Marcela. How's Belo Horizonte?
Hello, teacher.
Ah, she's listening. Hello. Are you all right?
All right, thank you.
I'm very well, thanks. Okay, good to see you here. I was just waiting for you to start the new lesson, okay? Now we can start.
Okay.
Okay, pay attention, please. What I'm going to tell you today, it's interesting because not many native speakers of English. When I say native speakers, I mean Americans, Canadians, even Maltese people or English people. They like to use this. But what I'm going to tell you is the correct way of using this. And it's interesting because really many Americans don't even know about the existence of whom. Oh, whom. See, M. I close my lips and I say whom. What is whom? It's exactly the same of who, but it's the object form of who. Understand? So I'm going to write here something in order to show you better. For example, John took Mary to the movies last Saturday. You see, if you observe this sentence, John is the subject, right? Responsible for the action. Took is the verb. When I say took, I can ask took what or took who or whom. In this case, Mary is the object of the sentence, right? To the movies. To the movies is the adverbial expression of place, and last Sunday is the adverbial expression of time. Okay? So in a sentence, when I have place and time, place is before the time, always. If I say John took Mary last Saturday to the movies, it's not correct. I have to say John took Mary where? To the movies. When? Last Saturday. Okay? So, if I wanted to discover the name of the person that took Mary to the movies last Saturday, the question would be about John, right?
Yes.
And John, as I told you, is the subject. So I would say, who took Mary to the movies last Saturday? And the answer would be John. If I wanted to discover the name of the person, not who, the name of the person that John took to the movies last Saturday, a normal, a regular, a standard American would probably say who did, because took is the past tense, who did John take to the movies last Saturday? And the answer would be Mary. If you look here, if you read here, whom is the objective case of who. It is the form of who in the object position of a sentence and is functionally similar to them, to him, to her. To determine when to use whom, figure out means discover if the who is the noun that receives the action of a verb and is thus with the th, thus means a consequence, the object of the sentence. Like, who gave it to you is the same. You gave it to whom? You see, whom is the object, it's not the subject. Now, if you never use whom and always insist on using who, it doesn't mean a native speaker is not going to understand you because they don't use it. But the problem is, if you have to do a test, any proficiency test, like TOEFL, TOEIC, Cambridge exam or IELTS, don't expect them to accept who in the place of whom, because the correct is whom when you're talking about the object. Okay? So, if I wanted to continue here to discover, for example, the place that John took Mary last Saturday, the place, I would ask, for example, where did John take Mary last Saturday? Here there is no problem. And if I wanted to discover when, the time, I would say when did John take Mary to the movies? And the answer would be last Saturday. And here would be to the movies. Well, but today we are basically going to focus here. This is what we need to talk about. This is what we need to learn. The best answer, the best is not who did John take. The best would be whom did John take to the movies last Saturday. At the moment you say whom, the person understands that you're not interested in the subject of the action, responsible for the action. You are interested in the object of the action. Understand, the person that suffered the action, not the person who did the action. I can give you other examples. For example, I went to São Paulo with my wife, right? Again, I went. If I want to discover who went to São Paulo with my wife, the subject, I say who went to São Paulo with your wife. I could say I did. Okay? But now, let's say, now starts the little details. If you observe my wife, that is the object of this sentence, okay? Oh, I is the subject and my wife is the object, right?
Right.
So what happens? Before my wife, I have a preposition with, right? With
Right.
my wife. And every time I have a preposition before the object, what I need to do, observe. I have to place the preposition in front of whom. And this is interesting because it's going to be just like Portuguese. This is one of the few cases that if you translate literally, word by word, it is similar to what we talk in Portuguese, like com quem? Okay, with whom did you go to São Paulo? And the answer would be my wife, right?
Right.
As I told you, a regular native speaker would talk like this. And this is confusing for us Brazilians. Oh, because he would say, who did you go to São Paulo with? We don't have in Portuguese questions with the preposition at the end of the sentence alone. Like if you translate, this is terrible. quem você foi para São Paulo com? Do we talk like this in Portuguese? No. So that's why I believe that it's easier for us to learn with whom, because that is very similar to what we say in Portuguese, understand? And this will make your English perfect, much better than many native speakers, understand? Because they simply don't like to use whom. But for us, it makes more sense to use whom than simply use who for the subject and the object. And that, I can give you many examples. For example, I saw Ted talking, no, let's make it simpler. Ted was talking to Mary. Very simple exercise. The same case, Ted is the subject, verb, Mary is the object of the preposition to, right? So, if I want to discover the name of the person that was talking to Mary, piece of cake. Who was talking to Mary? And the answer is Ted. But if I want to discover the name of the person that Ted was talking to, I would say, to whom was Ted talking? And the answer is Mary. As I told you, a normal American would say, who was Ted talking to? Again, every time we listen to this, it's confusing for us. Because who was Ted talking to? As most Brazilians, we understand, we translate, quem estava o Ted falando com? It's kind of confusing for us, understand? Because after we understand, it's too late to say com quem, because we already translated quem ele estava falando com. That's why, in my opinion, it is easier to learn the best possible English way of asking the question. And I cannot say, for example, let's say I'm having a normal conversation. I went to São Paulo. Okay, just this. And then you say, for example, with whom? That's perfect. With whom? My wife. But there is no possibility of saying with who. Understand? It would be necessary to say, really? Who did you go with? Much more complicated, understand? So in my opinion, it's easier to learn the best possible way of asking. Okay? I saw Ted talking to a girl. Let's suppose that Ted is Erica's boyfriend. At the same time, Erica is going to say, talking to a girl? To whom? To whom? Understand? Isn't it easier than say, who was he talking to? I simply say, to whom? They were talking about the president. About whom? The president. So I can ask, to whom? About whom? Okay? With whom? There are many prepositions that I can use with whom. Understand? They were talking about Elis Regina. About whom? Elis Regina. Oh, okay. Understand this?
Yes.
Márcia?
Yes.
Okay, Juliana? Okay, Marcela?
Okay.
Okay, so this was just an introduction. You have many pages with all the information. Oh, well, who is asking? Marcia, can you read this paragraph for us, please? This is going to tell you exactly what I have just said.
One can communicate with quite effectively in English. That is, make oneself understood accurately, entirely,
Yes, accurately is the same of precisely, okay? Precisely, accurately.
entirely,
Entirely, without whom?
without whom. But we suspect that for a number of use that is not enough. We are quite certain, in fact, that some of one like one very much and want to know how to use it correctly. This article is for you.
Okay, this is exactly what I told you. Many people communicate in English correctly without ever using whom. But this is not the best possible way. It's just like when we say in Portuguese, para mim fazer isso, eu faço, tudo bem. Everybody understands. But mim fazer, understand? So it's not a matter of communicating. What I'm trying to do here is try to teach you how to communicate well, how to communicate effectively, precisely, understand? And if you want to do that in English, the use of whom is kind of mandatory. And in my opinion, I can say easier to understand than who. Because when you listen, who did you go with? Who were you talking to? Who were you talking about? I don't do that, okay? But I know that many people translate word by word. And then they think, who was I talking to? It takes like 5 minutes for you to process the information. Right? Okay, Marcy? So,
when I was in Malta,
it was like this.
yes.
Yes. So sometimes after 5 minutes, the person doesn't want to know who you were talking to, understand? Because he or she wanted to know 5 minutes ago. Now that's not important. All right? So, in my opinion, if I say, oh, I was talking to a very interesting girl, you can simply say, to whom? I don't know. Her name is Fulana. I met her at the park. Understand? You see, it's much easier when you say, to whom? To whom? Okay? Like, I'm going to travel this weekend. With whom, teacher? Alone. Okay? You see, when I listen, with whom, my mind processes immediately. With whom? Com quem? Alone. With some friends. With my brother. Understand? Then I don't need to organize my ideas like quem você vai viajar com. Okay. All right? Okay. So let's see here. When to use whom? Erica, can you read this for us?
Yes. Whom is both simple and complicated. It's simple.
We can say, in other words, that whom is like a woman. Simple and complicated. Understand? It's basically the same, okay?
Okay. It's simple in that it's simple the objective case. Simply the objective
case of who?
Of who, which means that it's the form of who that is the objective position in a sentence. The pair of words is analogous to they and them. Just as we'd say, forgetting the lack of clarity, they helped them. We'd say, who helped whom?
Yes. Okay. Who helped whom? That makes perfect sense to me. Who? I'm interested in the subject. Helped is the verb. Whom? I'm interested in the object. Okay? Finish this part, Erica.
What exactly constitutes the object preposition in a sentence is where things get complicated.
Okay. Any vocabulary problem about this part or no?
No.
Excellent. Juliana, can you read the next part, please?
Objective in a grammatical term is a noun or noun equivalent, such as pronoun, gerund, or clause that receives the action of a verb or that completes the meaning of a preposition. So, for example, sandwich. In they bought a sandwich.
Yes.
It means my dog ate it. Apologizing in an appropriate time for apologizing. And that it was true in an appropriate time for apologizing. And that it was true in I was afraid that it was true.
You see, here comes the complicated part. Okay?
Yeah.
The person that wrote this is only trying to explain that sometimes it's difficult to understand what is the object. For example, sandwich. They bought what? A sandwich. But a sandwich is not a person. Who I only use for a person, never a thing. Okay? So here, if I wanted to discover what, like who bought a sandwich? They did. What did they buy? A sandwich. Okay? We are talking here about a thing. So the object can be a thing or it can be a person. Sometimes can be both. My dog ate it. It, in this case, it refers to the sandwich. So it's still a thing. Like apologizing in an appropriate time for apologizing. And that it was true in an appropriate time for apologizing. And that it was true in an appropriate time for apologizing. And that it was true. You see, this is a clause that is the object of the sentence. I was afraid. Afraid of what? That it was true. You see, that it was true is the object clause. So we can have a person as the object, we can have a thing as the object, or we can have an entire sentence as the object. But whom we will not use in these cases. Whom we will only use if the object is a person. Understand? That's what you need to remember. So, Marcela, can you read the next part, please?
Who is a pronoun, which means that it's used instead of a noun or noun phrase that has already been mentioned, or that does not need to be named specifically. Whom replaces who in spots where that word would receive that would receive that action of the verb or complete the meaning of a preposition. Who versus whom examples.
Okay. Oh. Who often functions as an interrogative pronoun, which means that it introduces questions that have nouns as the answer. Like, who told my dog about that sandwich? It's one person, it's not the object. Who told? Who should my dog apologize to? This is what a normal American would probably say. Oh, your dog should apologize to Mary because he ate Mary's sandwich. Understand? So both of these sentences sound natural with who? Both of them. As I told you, this is what a normal American would probably say. But the second one would be much, much better if I had said, to whom should my dog apologize? Okay? To whom should my dog apologize? To Mary, because he ate Mary's sandwich. Understand? Mary bought herself a sandwich. She left the sandwich on a chair. My dog came and ate it. That's not nice. So my dog should apologize. Ow, I'm sorry. Okay? Something like this. Yes.
I forget what means apologize.
Apologize is when you say, I'm sorry. Okay? Understand? When you do something bad to another person, okay? Usually you should go and apologize to this person. Like, I'm sorry if I offended you. I'm sorry if I broke, for example. You come to my house, I offer you a cup of tea. Okay, see a cup of tea here. Can you see? And then you...
No.
No, here.
Yes.
Okay. I offer you a cup of tea. You drop, plucked, you break my cup of tea. Oh, I'm sorry about this. I will buy another cup of tea for you. No, don't worry, it's not necessary. When you say I'm sorry, you are apologizing, okay?
Understand, thanks.
Okay?
Okay, thanks, teacher.
No problem. You see, both of these sentences sound natural with who. But if we want to know whether whom is the grammarian's choice in either of them, we have to determine if each who is in the object position. With question, the easiest way to do this is to reimagine the question as a statement. Like, who told my dog about that sandwich? Becomes X, a person, told my dog about that sandwich. Standing with X is the unknown divulger of sandwich existence, is the person that we don't know, okay? So X is the subject of the verb told. Like, somebody told my dog about the sandwich. My dog went there and ate the sandwich, okay? So if I reimagine the second part, like, who should my dog apologize to? In this case, my dog should apologize to X, to a person. And this person is not the subject. This person is the object of the preposition to. So technically speaking, I should use to whom should my dog apologize and not who. Understand? It is not incorrect. I'm going to say it again. If you understand everything today and never use whom, you will survive. You will make it. Yes, it's true. It's true. Okay? Honestly speaking, one day I asked an American, like, with whom? And she said, what? Said, with whom did you go? And she said, what do you mean by whom? She didn't know about the existence of whom. And she was a university girl, understand? And she didn't know about the existence of whom. Because she never had to take an English test. I had. This is very interesting. If you want to go to a university in the United States, you have to prepare yourself for a test. It's called the TOEFL test. I spent 6 months of my life dedicating 8, 9, 10 hours a day studying for this test. That was a necessary condition for me to be accepted into the university, right? But the Americans, they don't have to take this test. They are Americans. They speak English. So what happened? In the first year of the university, every time it was necessary to write a paper, to write an essay, the Americans would ask me to write. Like, can you write for us? I would say, why me? Oh, you have a good way with the words. I said, what do you mean I have good way with the words? Your English is good. My English is good. I see. But why sometimes you say I don't understand? Well, your pronunciation is not perfect, but your writing is perfect. I felt very angry, understand? Sometimes they pretended not to understand me, especially if they didn't want to talk to me, okay? But when it was necessary to write, they would ask me. Many times in class, they would say, Roberto, how do you spell this? I needed to spell because they didn't know how to spell, understand? And it was very funny because honestly speaking, I was a good student, a very good student. And sometimes the teachers used me as an example. Like, look, Roberto is not even an American born, and he got like A+ in the test. And this was not good because they started bullying on me, understand? Because I was doing better than. Yes. And then I had to ask.
Congratulations, teacher.
No, because I was there to study. My father was paying a lot of money for me to study, so I studied. And my friends, they were only out drinking, partying, understand?
Yeah.
And I could not go out. Because in the state of Washington, where I used to live, it was necessary to be 21 years old to go out, to go into a bar, to go to a party. I started university when I was 17.
No.
Very young. Yes.
Very young.
Yes. I finished high school at the age of 16, and I started university when I was 17. I was almost graduating from university without being able to go to any bar, okay? So every Friday, Saturday, all my friends, they would go out. And what would I do? I would stay home and study, okay? Well, c'est la vie, okay? So, understand this. We have here the preferred versions. Whom should my dog apologize to if I want to keep the preposition at the end like the Americans do? Or, as I said, to whom should my dog apologize? Those are the two best possible questions you can ask about the object. Object, person. If it's a thing, forget about it. Understand? Like, I went to the shopping mall today. Oh, really? What? did you buy? Oh, I bought a new purse. Who did you go with? Complicated. With whom? I went with my sister. Okay? Oh, with whom? My sister. That's very easy. Okay? So let's continue here just to finish this part. Relative pronouns and subordinate clauses. Okay? Subordinate clauses. Clause, if you ask me, what is a clause? Clause is a part of a sentence. A sentence is big. A clause is one part. A clause always contains a subject and a verb. Okay? When I say, for example, I know what you did last night. I know is one clause. What you did last night is another clause. Together, I know what you did last night is a sentence. Okay? One is the main, I know what you did last night is the subordinate clause. So, Marcia, can you read this again? Who and whom?
Who and whom also frequently function as relative pronouns, which means that they refer to a noun or noun phrase that was mentioned earlier.
Earlier. Okay.
The person who told my dog about the sandwich was unhelpful.
Oh, Marcia, when you see a big word like this, stop for 1 second, only 1 second, and look at the word. In the middle of the word, you have the word help. Help, help. Okay?
Okay.
Before help, you have it's a prefix. And after help, you have fu, which is a suffix. So sometimes when you try to pronounce all together, it becomes like helpful. It's complicated, but break it into parts, like unhelpful. Oh, very easy. Unhelpful. Unhelpful. That means not helpful. Okay? Read the examples. The person who told my dog about the sandwich was unhelpful. Read again, please.
The person who told my dog about the sandwich was unhelpful.
See, now it's perfect. Okay? Now, the sandwich's owner, who my dog apologized to, requires a replacement sandwich, another sandwich, of course, because my dog ate his sandwich. Okay? So, again, some analysis is required to determine if who is the object position, and then, theoretically, we should use whom. Relative pronouns introduce subordinate clauses. Okay, what is the subordinate clause? We have already talked about this. Let me try to give you examples that are simpler than dog, apologize, saying hello, bye-bye. Okay, I found a space here. Oh, let me write here for you. For example, I went out with the girl. Only this. Can you understand this sentence?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Can you identify the girl that I'm talking about or no?
No.
No.
So probably if we were having a normal conversation, you would immediately ask me, who is the girl? What girl? Understand? Because this word here, you can understand because you translated and discovered. Okay? But you don't know what girl I'm talking about. So imagine a second part. Oh, she is not. She used to work with my father. This entire sentence here, she used to work with my father, refers to what? To the girl, right?
Right.
Can you see that? Now, if I say, I went out with the girl, she used to work with my father, it's very clear now. Now you can imagine the girl that I'm talking about. If I wanted to join these two sentences into just one sentence, I would need to say, for example, I went out with the girl. The girl is a person, right? Who used to work with my father. Right? I went out with the girl who used to work with my father. I use who because the girl in this sentence here, in the second sentence, what is the function of the girl? Subject, right? Girl is the subject, she. Understand these or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now, let me make a little alteration here. For example, I went out with the girl. First part is the same. Dr. John's son was married to her. Can you see the difference now? The girl I went out, is it Dr. Johnson?
No.
No. Dr. Johnson was married to her. Now, what position is the girl in the second sentence? The subject or the object?
Object.
Object.
Exactly. So here, Dr. Johnson is the subject, was married is the verb, and the girl is the object of the preposition to, right? So if I wanted to join the two sentences in a perfect way, I would say, I went out with the girl. Is there a preposition before the girl? Yes. To whom Dr. Johnson was married. Understand? Or I went out with the girl who Dr. Johnson was married to. This is how a typical American would probably express himself. But what's the best? This one.
Teacher.
Yes.
Ai, fala português. A gente só pode usar o whom, então, quando... Peraí.
We want to ask a question about the object. Understand? Never the subject.
Porque o primeiro aqui, ó, I went out with the girl who used...
Yeah, but observe the position. No, the girl here, Marcelo, look.
Ah, porque ele é o subject.
Yes, the girl is the subject. of the second
Okay.
sentence. So she used. Here, the object is my father. Understand? Not the girl.
Yes.
So if I
Okay.
wanted to ask, for example, with whom the girl you went out used to work. You see? And the answer would be my.
Understand. Okay.
Because in that case, the object is my father, not the girl.
Mhm.
Now, again, just to finish the class, I am teaching you what is perfect, the best possible English. So I recommend that you try to do the exercises at the end of this lesson here. Paul took Mary to the movies. You ask a question about Paul, you ask a question about Mary. If there is a preposition before the object, you use it in front of whom. Like John went out with the woman. Okay, so you have to ask a question about John, and you have to ask a question about the woman. I forgot to underline here, okay? Ted and Davis have always worked, I forgot to underline, with Susan. Okay? So I recommend that you try to do this. Okay? The Smith family is the subject, will travel with the Anderson family. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
You always have to ask a question about the subject and the object. That's it. I am sorry, I forgot to underline, my bad. But tomorrow we can correct this. And if possible, we can start the new class, okay? Welcome back to Brazil, okay? I hope you feel comfortable at home now, even though you have to stay at home 14 days. Home is always home, okay?
Thank you.
So I hope to see everyone tomorrow. Give my best to your mother, okay, Erika?
Okay, teacher,
And I'll
thank
see
you.
you guys tomorrow, all right? At the same time, okay?
Right.
Okay.
Bye-bye, see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye. See you.